Hey guys, welcome back to Globe Trekker Gaming. Today we'll be moving on to part 25 of our gameplay of Suzerain. Let's get going. So I know in the last few parts we started digging into some of the more intricate details of running the government and everything, and yeah, let's just get right back to it and see what we have in Whole Sword. So it looks like budget allocation of the government of Sordland. So this one seems like it'll probably be pretty interesting there. So let's just get right to it. So the preparations for the government budget were finished. Most of the cabinet gathered. Oh wow, they got a lot of people here. Nearly half of the year passed since my inauguration. The cabinet looked overworked. I would like to use this opportunity for a statement, and now the moment we've all been waiting for. It's finally time to discuss the budget. Welcome everyone. Great to see you. I'm just gonna say that there. Just hello. So Petter, Gus, and David won't be attending. They are working on the upcoming trade agreements. Okay. Okay. Sierra gave a barely disguised eye roll. Who's Sierra again? Oh, the Minister of Education. Did you just roll your eyes at me? If I did, it's because religion is no place at a government budget meeting. Okay, I don't really need to see them having, a whole dispute here. Um, According to Sordland's laws regarding the... Okay, I don't really need to see them having a whole argument about her saying, what was it? May the Lord be with them. I think that's, yeah, religious, but not overwhelmingly religious. So let's just kind of get to the point here. Ladies, let's leave the extraneous chit-chat for afternoon tea. I agree with Lucian there. Please leave your religion at the Maroon Palace gates. The Lord is always welcome, or I'm just going to not comment. Simon started to loudly shuffle some documents around. All eyes turned to the Minister of Economy. Let's begin. Thanks to Simon's expertise, I'm sure we'll achieve a lot. I'm just going to say that there. Because Simon seems like he knows what he's doing pretty well. He's the Minister of the Economy. There's so many different people, I always have to double check, to see who's what in each one. So today's a big day. We must prioritize our spending wisely in order to achieve the goals we set, while maintaining enough political support, if I may add. There are three options regarding the budgeting of the four main branches of government. It's either we increase, maintain, or decrease the funding. Increase will result in an improvement. Maintaining will keep the funding, and decreasing will cause a loss of efficiency. Can we rely on the private sector? Moving away from big government's the right choice. The problem isn't the amount of money we spent, it's how efficiently. I'm going to say that there. We want to, make sure the money's going to good uses and everything. It's true that many of our policies could be far better implemented. Our welfare systems are full of issues that need to be addressed. We have to be careful as to what we fund, so we have resources remaining for another investment project. We should prioritize the most critical branches. We have to keep true to the election promises. Reduction of funding in certain branches can help fund. I'm going to say that there because I don't want to give unnecessary funding to things that don't need it. But, I'm not saying we're not going to, fund things that do need it. But let's just do that there. Yes, the bigger our budget surplus, the more we can spend on reviving the economy. Before we begin our discussion, there's one thing that I want to voice my opinion on. As we manage the government budget, we can go into debt to invest in different branches. However, under these circumstances, it would worsen the economic crisis if we push it too far. It's difficult for us to raise debt with the current unhealthy economy, but we can increase the amount of debt we can take as the economy improves. We should spend as much as possible to achieve growth. Should be fiscally conservative to avoid a crash. I'm going to say that there, because I don't want to go dump a whole bunch and then suddenly wind up in a bad place later. Measures of austerity have shown difficult. I don't even know what he's trying to say there. Given the current state of the country, improving the economic situation is political priority now, more so than ever if we want to win the 58 election. This budget will also be applicable to our entire term. It's very critical. Let's begin. What branch should we discuss first? Healthcare, law enforcement, military, or education? I'm going to go to education first, because I know that was an area that I made as, the priority at the start of the game there. So I think we're going to have to, make sure we get a good amount in education. Plus, I think, as you build up education, that can really help build up the nation as a whole then. So our education system is lacking, not only in funding, but in modern curricular principles. Our outdated curriculum is wasting our youth. That is the reason why I advocate two things: an increase of the budget to improve access to education in rural areas and education reform. So it's lacking compared to Arcasia and United Cantana. The backbone of any country is its people, and we need to protect our future. I kind of do have to agree with her there. We need to ensure the new generation is well educated and their counterparts in more modern countries. Nonsense. Sordland is still here because of this very system that you insult. Okay, let's just, we won't be compared to other countries. Sordland is Sordland. I agree with Lilius. Joseph, I don't trust that guy at all. I also I must also remind you that we promised we were going to focus on education. You're all right, Lucian. We can't let people down. Lilius is right. I agree with Ciara. It's time we invest in education and enact reforms. I'm gonna have to agree with her there, just because I made education one of the priorities. Um, let's hear the opinions on the military, but I know that Yosef is gonna just like demand a whole bunch of extra money and everything, just with the way it's been in the past. But let's see what he has to say. What is there exactly? Yeah, what is there to hear about? I already voiced my opinions. Rumburg is coming, whether we like it or not. If not this year, next year. You and I have a shared responsibility to protect this nation from its enemies, and I intend to do so until the last breath. I will say this with certainty. If Rumburg doesn't make a move against Sordland in 2 or 3 years, my name is not Joseph Lancia. He was beginning to lose control of the volume of his voice. There can be no argument against increasing the budget for our army when there is an enemy at our doorstep. As much as I don't trust Yosef, I really think the areas we should focus on are education and the military, just because I want our country to come off as strong, but also, then, be protected, but then also, really work on improving everything from within. So, Mr. Lancia. Right, pardon my theatrics, sir, but this is a serious matter. Well, here's an argument. The armed forces does nothing but eat away financial resources destined for our people while stoking fears from an upcoming war. I do think we need to get a strong military, though. As much as I think she's got kind of a point there, just because it seems like the military's got a lot of corruption, I do think we need to invest a good amount in the military and make sure that it's pretty strong there. That we are ready to defend our nation, Miss Walda. Exactly. I agree with Josef. Rumburg is a real threat, and we need to be ready. I'm going to say that there. Like, I want to be diplomatic about it, but I think we also should prepare to, have a strong military with it. So let's talk about healthcare, law enforcement. Let's go to healthcare, which I feel like I've already heard this, but was it Pascal or someone else that was mentioning something about healthcare before? Which I want to kind of try to privatize healthcare a bit more, because it seemed like that was the area to go. But so our healthcare system is vast and provides free services to most of our citizens. However, the quality of our health services is far worse in low-income and rural areas. Therefore, I think that we should receive more funding. I agree. I've recently begun an investigation into healthcare in Narble, and the numbers are not good. If we don't increase spending on health services, we at least need to maintain it. Otherwise, we are putting lives at risk. We have just started a new analysis of what would happen if a pandemic struck Sordland. According to the results, if our healthcare facilities remain in their current state, the death toll would be unimaginable. I'm not even talking about damage to the economy. This is a matter of life and death, Mr. President, and it should be treated as such. That is indeed worrying. We should try to fix whatever we can. That's only if, or we need to improve our healthcare. What else are we here for if we can't keep people alive? Yeah, I'm going to say that. That's a good point. And let's just get to law enforcement, since that's the last area. So it's really, the 4 areas are healthcare, education, law enforcement, and military. Let's... If I have to choose between all 4 of these, that's a hard one there, because I want to be able to still do more investment projects, but I'm hoping it gives more options on, what I can do. Because I think some funding in all of them is good, but I don't want to overfund it either. I would like to have an increase in the funding of law enforcement to increase the size of the police force and raise salaries. If she's actually saying that, that's a big deal, because she always seems to be the pessimist about everything. We have so many internal threats to tackle, and I'm already stretching my units far too thin. Oh yeah, she's the Minister of the Interior. So, law enforcement is certainly a high priority. However, I feel tackling internal corruption is of far higher importance than increasing our police response. Directing the funds to my department, who's she? The Minister of Justice. Directing the funds to my department would solve the problem at its root. If corruption is still rampant, all the police in the world won't help us. We need a specialized anti-corruption police unit, which we could create. I don't know, I think she's got a good point, but I also think, that's essentially just adding on a whole new wing of police there. I agree with Miss Morgna. We should not reward a structure that is responsible for an ever-increasing number of human rights violations. I'm going to have to go with her on this. I think at this point, if we can try to reform the police there and everything, I don't want to give a bunch of money if they're going to be corrupt about things anyway. Let's see. More funding will allow us to take care of our police forces. I'm going to have to go with CR on this one. I'm kind of conflicted, but I think that's the better one. I agree with... Wait, where's Nia again? Oh, yeah, here we go. I agree with Nia. We need real solutions for real problems. What did Lilius say? So Lilius wants to increase the funding. Nia wants to make an anti-corruption unit. And then Ciara, corruption needs to be the reason. Yeah, I'm gonna go with Nia on that. If you know, Nia and Ciara seem like they have kind of the same approach to it. I've made up my mind. We can proceed. Very good talking points. Well then, the time to make a decision on the budget has come. It's like so dramatic with it. Consider it with care, Mr. President. Simon placed a stack of papers on the table. I turned the first page. Um, so healthcare. Let's see, increase, decrease, or maintain. So I'm gonna just maintain healthcare for now. I do think that needs to be an important investment there, but it also seems like we just don't. It seems like right now we just can't afford that there. And I mean, they said like it's not terrible there. I'm gonna at least maintain it. I'm not gonna decrease it. So law and order. It's the recent culminating tension between the different youth groups. Police need help keeping up with increased crime rates. I'm gonna maintain that one too. Education, I gotta increase because I promised that there. Um, and the military. This is hard there. I'm gonna go. Even though it's gonna put us in debt there, I'm gonna go to the military there. Like I want to increase all of them, but I don't want to go too badly in debt there. I think the military is important to fund there because it's gonna help with the outside risks and everything, especially as everything becomes a little more tense there. Um, as much as on the other ones, like the law enforcement and healthcare, I think those both do need to be increased. But the main thing is one, they're talking about corruption and everything, but it's not saying that it's gonna ruin everything if we don't increase law enforcement. So I think just keeping the status quo on that will be good. Healthcare, I think that's something that will be important down the road there, but especially if we're trying to get more businesses to provide healthcare and everything, I think that would do better there. And plus, they said it's not like in a detrimental state as it is. It's just you know, it it's going to be a problem if there's like a pandemic or something. So again, I know I'm probably going to second guess this. This game makes you want to second guess it, which I feel like I say every time there's a big decision, but I'm just going to keep with this one. So I finished allocating the government budget, and to the satisfaction of some cabinet members and the dismay of others, they and I knew this would define a significant part of our term. We have a deficit on our hands. We need to resort to debt to finance future investments. This situation can have adverse effects. Agreed. Well then, let's start with law enforcement. Lilius leaned forward and put her hand down on her chin. Nia was looking down at the floor. I suppose we'll have to make do with what we have. This is not the best situation. I'm not sure what we'll be able to do if the budget doesn't change. Any statement on the matter, sir? I trust you to push the Ministry of the Interior and Justice forward. The continuation of the existing set of budgetary conditions is in order. Say that there. Our efforts will be on maintaining order with what we have. Here I was thinking the Rayne administration would be on the side of law and justice. Let's hear from the Minister of Education. The increase of funding is very welcome. We can finally go after some comprehensive improvements. Surely a well-funded and larger Ministry of Education would benefit everyone. Our future depends on our children. Education is the first step in the fight against ignorance. Education is the future will not be sidelined. Okay, yep. I think, like I said, with education, I think that's the main area that I've really been focusing on, so we'll keep that there. Thank you. It's great to see a positive change. The military's next. Sarah clearly wasn't finished, but didn't interject. Yosef chimed in. It is an honor to serve with the president that respects the military. Trust me, with these funds, our armed forces will be better than ever before. Lucian seemed as if he was about to say something, but looked down at his notepad. The military is the top of my priority list and always will be, rest assured. With your talent and experience, you will overcome the issues our military faces. I'm going to say that because that kind of puts it on him to do it. I may have second thoughts about this, but I can't obviously go back at this point. But I don't really trust Yosef, but at the same time, I think especially with the threat of, Rumberg and everything, even though there was that whole diplomatic thing before, I think having a strong military will be important to protect the country. Because if you can't protect the country, there is no country. With the support you've provided, I will protect this country from any threat. Let's hear from Mr. Benowell. I can't say that maintaining the funding is negative, but I don't think our services will perform any better. Healthcare, I think, should be a focus there, but like I said, we're maintaining the status quo. I'm not reducing anything, so I think that's what we got to do. Your opinions were noted, Pascal. Your task is to improve the care in the country. It is best we continue our funding as it is. You will have to find. I'm going to say that there. Shows that I still care, and hopefully, puts it up to him to improve it with what he has. which will be very. Okay, I get your point, Pascal. That covers all branches. Each minister will approach you with their respective policy requests and expectations over the next year. Thank you for your time and participation in this significant moment. Thank you, everyone. I appreciate your time. Regardless of what happened, I wouldn't be here without you. Don't forget we are a team. For those who don't, I'm just going to say that there. The ministers bid their farewells, some excitedly, others dejectedly. The budget for our term is concluded. So yeah, I'm happy. I really like that we're now starting to make some really solid decisions there. And let's see. Actually, is it going to go to like some dramatic thing for this? Chapter 2, A New Sordland. Oh wow. Okay, so we're going to be now moving on to some really interesting stuff here. So I'm really excited to see where we go about this. But I'm happy we're really starting to make some important decisions on this, and I'm kind of excited to keep playing this game. So, otherwise, that's going to do it for part 25. So, stay tuned for part 26, and thank you guys so much for watching.